Hey, what's up? I'm Channel Pup Fanboy Supervillain, and today we're just doing a quick update video, as we do have some Spidey news I would like to discuss. We've got a major Spider-Man 4 update and some Beyond the Spider-Verse news as well that we will be discussing today. Subscribe, patron, links in the description below, very appreciated, thank you very much. So as we already know, Beyond the Spider-Verse is delayed indefinitely. We have absolutely no idea when to expect this movie. However, just last night we had an article from Insider suggesting that the majority of Beyond the Spider-Verse was scrapped for creative reasons over at Sony, and that the soonest we could expect the film would be around about 2027, which would obviously be quite a way away. That would also mark 4 years between the incredible cliffhanger of Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. So yeah, just insane, and the worst part is, everybody kind of believed this at first, as it does sound like the kind of thing Sony would do. There were behind-the-scenes stories of Across the Spider-Verse's animation process where finalized shots would then be redone because of plot changes. So I could absolutely believe any report that would say most of the film was scrapped and they kind of started again. However, Spider-Verse composer Daniel Pemberton has spoken out on Twitter to say not to believe everything you hear, suggesting that these reports might not be accurate. There was a side to me that kind of thought, is it possible that maybe this is referring to why the film was delayed in the first place? Maybe back in earlier production, everything was scrapped and they kind of started over again. The thing is, this is a two-part story, and this is part 2 of that story, so you would hope that they wouldn't be doing any major gear shifts in terms of where the story is going, now that the first part is already out. But sadly, no actual news or any kind of release date on Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it has to be said, what a fumble. Some of the mistreated animators were speaking out around the time of Across the Spider-Verse's release, saying that there's pretty much no chance that Beyond the Spider-Verse would ever meet its deadline, and it took for Sony to finally actually announce the delay to the film. Like, they kept those release dates up until the 11th hour. While I don't doubt that fans will definitely turn up for Beyond the Spider-Verse, I am wondering if they might be leaving it a little too late for the general audience. At this point, ultimately, I say, let them cook. Let them have their rest as well. Don't have the animators and the filmmakers working 24/7. I would rather wait knowing that they will live to make another movie, or, you know, just live to have a happy life. It just sucks that this situation is the way it is. It's just poor planning on Sony's part. But if it means getting an incredible trilogy and a movie that is every bit as amazing as the previous two, I am happy to wait as long as it takes. It's just a shame that I will most definitely be in my 30s by the time this releases. The clock just does not stop ticking. So, non-story, nothing burger, don't worry, I've got something that will make up for it. Spider-Man 4 news. So, it's set to start shooting next year, and we know who's going to be involved now. Tom Holland is definitely going to be involved, currently in the process of renewing his contracts. Zendaya, they are also in the process of renewing her contracts as well, meaning that we will probably see MJ in some capacity in Spider-Man 4. Jon Watts will not be returning to direct this one, with the film instead being directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Shang-Chi, while the script will once again be penned by Eric Summers and Chris McKenna. Now, this is kind of exciting to me because, like, no disrespect to Jon Watts, I actually really like what he brought to the Spider-Man Home trilogy. He did a nice job bringing that kind of awkward teenage vibe to these movies, making them feel smaller in scale than other MCU films, but he was also excellent at, like, tension scenes as well, particularly like when the Vulture realizes Spider-Man's secret identity, the Washington Monument scene, the Mysterio Berlin fight, just that entire third act of Spider-Man Far From Home, to be honest. The Spider-Sense and Goblin reveal scene in Spider-Man No Way Home, he did a great job with those movies, especially considering that No Way Home basically had to be filmed in a closet as well because of COVID restrictions. But I will say I am glad to see new blood on MCU Spider-Man 4, because it felt like the end of No Way Home kind of brought us a soft reboot for Spidey, something quite back to basics. And it is cool to, for the first time, see a live-action Spider-Man passed from one director to another. I mean, okay, Jon Watts has technically directed Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in No Way Home, but we've got the first time a brand new director has stepped into the shoes of another for a Spider-Man sequel. That is going to be really interesting to see, and to see what Destin Daniel Cretton brings. And he's quite a cool pick because he is quite new in his career as a feature film director. But of course, I suppose our best point of reference for the next Spider-Man, and unfortunately the only Destin Daniel Cretton film I've seen, is Shang-Chi. So yeah, he is in Marvel's In Squad, effectively. He was allegedly offered Avengers the Kang Dynasty before that changed to Doomsday. And then of course they hit the emergency reset button, got the Russo brothers in to direct that one. And it's like, okay, if he can't do Avengers Kang Dynasty, then I would say Spider-Man is at least the next best thing. I mean, personally, if I were a director and I were offered Avengers or Spider-Man, I'd go for Spider-Man. So I'm just super excited for him. I wasn't blown away by Shang-Chi, which is kind of a hot take. A lot of people consider it to be one of the better films of Phase 4. I just thought it was perfectly middle of the road. But if there is one thing that I did agree with the consensus on, it was that the action, particularly in the first and second acts, was exceptionally good. Unfortunately, in the third act, it kind of becomes more CGI visual vomit, but in the first and second act, like, it's got some of the most well-choreographed sequences in the MCU, and I am so excited to see that kind of directing style applied to Spidey. And if this is a story with Spider-Man in the suit for the majority of the film, then I bet we'll be getting some incredible action beats. Better yet, if he has the black suit, I think Destin Daniel Cretton will do an amazing job. So put it this way, I'm not screaming and applauding, and that's mainly just because I haven't seen enough of Destin Daniel Cretton's work. The only thing I've seen of his is Shang-Chi, sadly. I know, I'm mainstream trash, I'm part of the problem. So due to that unfamiliarity, I'm not necessarily celebrating massively here. But from what I have seen of his work, I think he's a great pick. I know some folks are going to ask me, Pup, how would you have felt about Sam Raimi doing Spider-Man 4? And yeah, it would be awesome to see Sam Raimi step up to the plate and give us another Spider-Man, directing a Spider-Man that isn't his own. That would be super interesting to see, and obviously Sam Raimi would do a good job. He is the guy when it comes to directing Spider-Man. But I'll say this, I think I'm happier that they've taken a swing for a brand new director on these films. Open the position up to new blood. I think that's a great move. I've seen recently, particularly with, like, say, the recent season of Doctor Who, that bringing back the old guard isn't always the right thing for the future of a franchise. But I think it speaks volumes that, like, with the Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday, they've kind of played things very safe in getting the Russos back, while with Spider-Man, we've now got Destin Daniel Cretton directing. It kind of speaks to the health of these projects, that the MCU at large might be in a bit of a rocky position, but Spider-Man isn't. Spider-Man can afford to do something new and take some new swings. I will say this, I was kind of hoping we would have new blood in the writing department, and that's nothing against Eric Summers and Chris McKenna. I just think if we've got a new director, a new era, it would make sense to have new blood on the writing team as well. These are the guys who wrote Spider-Man Far From Home and Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think they did Homecoming. And if people took issue with the writing of the MCU Spider-Man film, it's going to be super interesting seeing the change of director get the blame for the writing in the film. Because people on the internet have no idea what the fuck a director's job actually is. But maybe Chris McKenna and Eric Summers are going to be a bit more versatile than I'm anticipating. I don't know. All I really know of their work is that they did 2 of the Home movies, they did Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they did Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, so they are kind of that very safe bet sort of blockbuster writing team. I would really love to see a more outside-the-box pick for writing a Spider-Man story, but I guess we'll see. Like, they did a good job with the Home movies. I'm not denying that at all, I feel like I'm ready for a change of pace. Like I was saying with John Watts earlier, no disrespect to their current work, I think I'm just ready for a change of pace. Now, of course, the big question is, will it be a multiverse movie, or will it be the street-level Spider-Man film we've been asking for? Well, I recently made a video about that, so you can go check that out. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment. But that is it for now. What do you guys think? Comment below, discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get your name in the credits of these videos, with a special shout out going to the patrons in the $5 and above tiers. We have Chohenshin, KB, RT0, Carl X, Hypes, Sad Goku, Dare Denny, SSS06, Kale Bennett, Ken K, Mr. SP, Cirrus the Skeptic, Biotin. Oh no, I've used up all the helium. What am I meant to do now? And Vera Wild. Thank you folks so much for your generosity, and to those of you at home, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Now get out of here.